The phrase, "Be careful or the boogeyman will get you," is referencing Albert Fish. Albert Fish was nicknamed the Boogeyman and killed many children over the years. Albert Fish is a renowned serial killer who had an interesting childhood, committed multiple murders, and was finally caught. Albert Fish's childhood. Albert Fish did not have a very happy childhood like most of us do. He had gone through many struggles in his life, and his family sadly has a history of mental illness and mania in the family, so he did not get the good genes in that department. And according to his father died when he was young, and according to Audrey Webster, after his father died from a heart attack, Albert's mother placed him in an orphanage. And in this orphanage, he was exposed to violence and many other hurtful things that did not help him become who he is today. He met a boy there that had not taught Albert the ways on how to live. He had him drink pee and eat feces and other gross things that were very odd behaviors for Albert to start to get to at such a young age. And sadly, also in this orphanage, he was beaten and abused and did not have the means to defend himself. At first, he really didn't like these beatings because they were hurtful, and then he started to get joy and pleasure out of it afterwards, which seems really odd because most people don't find beatings to be a very happy experience. So that is why his childhood does not have a very happy ending to it and has led to his serial killer behavior. Now on to the crimes that Albert had committed. And he was a serial killer who went after little children, and it is said that he has children all over the states, and that these children, he claimed to have like 400 some children, and he was very proud of this, which is not something he should be proud of. Albert Fish was a very sadistic killer, and he would use weapons to kill these children that were not very good towards them, obviously. And according to Charles Mandel, Robert was used in his own labeled Instruments of Hell, which involved the paddle, meat cleaver, and knives. These are the tools that he would use on the children when he would try to injure them. And he also raped many of these children, and that is because he, as a young child, was also raped, so he was just doing what he was used to, and he also just injured these children very badly. And then the case that led to the capturing of Albert Fish was Grace Budd. One afternoon, he was supposed to meet up with these two younger boys and take them to a party, and he saw that they had a 12-year-old daughter, and her name was Grace, and he asked the parents if he could take her along to the party too, and they didn't see anything wrong with it because Albert Fish did not seem like the serial killer type. He was very nice, and everyone seemed to think he was just a nice old man, but that was not the case because Grace Budd was never found after that day. And Albert Fish made sure that she would never see the light of day again. He luckily did not rape her, but according to the autopsy, but so it is said that she would die a virgin. And he did use many different tools to cut her and stuff. And he was also known for being a cannibal, and so he would cut up children and eat them. It talked about how he made a stew once, and that he would get carrots and onions and make a stew out of the children's meat. Then led to the capturing of Albert Fish. A detective decided to take 2 years extended to his retirement in order to find Albert Fish. He did not know him at the time, and he was stuck on this Grace Budd case, and he really wanted to know why of her disappearance. And finally, he did find Albert Fish, and Albert did confess to all his crimes because he was proud of them. And according to Charles Mendo, on January 16, 1936, Albert Fish was electrocuted at Sing Sing prison. And a quote from the book, Albert Fish, in his own words, "What a thrill that would be to have died in an electric chair. It will be the supreme thrill, the only one I have not tried," which seems a very sadistic way to go about things. Albert Fish is a renowned serial killer who had an interesting childhood, committed multiple murders, and was finally caught. It is safe to say, due to Albert's death, the boogeyman can no longer find you at night. The sadistic mind of Albert Fish will always be remembered, and the children will never be forgotten. A quote from Stephen King states, "Monsters are real, and ghosts are real too. They live inside us, and sometimes they win."